Gonzalo, welcome to our programme here. Can I just ask you to comment perhaps on current trading conditions and what the net interest margin or the improvement, at least in net interest income, means for the bank going forward?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me, Jeff. And absolutely, yes, the change in interest rates is certainly positive news for the Spanish banking system and for us. It means strong growth in revenues, which we expect to continue during this year and into 2024. And it's basically recovering revenues and profitabilities that had been suffering during this long period of negative rates in the Eurozone.
The performance of loans, I think, is going to come increasingly under scrutiny as we wait to see what the economic outlook looks like through the rest of this year and into 2024. How comfortable are you with the loan book at the moment, and how are you changing lending conditions to take into account future risks?
Well, I would say at this stage we are staying clearly open for business. We have fairly strong balance sheet in terms of solvency and liquidity, and this is the moment to be with our clients. Clearly, in this quarter, we have actually increased significantly, given that the conditions were not that great, our business lending, and that's offsetting a relatively significant decrease in the mortgage book, where there's a lot of repayment, prepayment, and an impact of a higher level of rates in new production. Looking forward, I would expect that our position is going to keep allowing us to support our customers where demand is clearly less so in the real estate, limited but some existing demand on the business side and on the consumer lending, and hopefully we will be able to keep a stable loan book with all that during this year. My expectation is that we will continue to gain market share as we have done on the business sector in this first part of the year.
Gonzalo, a huge focus on deposits at this point, and the ECB arguably delivering some sort of favour to the sector yesterday, bolstering those deposit rates with the increase that we saw. But the same story is unfolding your bank versus others in Spain, where deposits are slipping. I can see at the end of March, deposits from retail clients were down by 1.4% versus December. What's taking place under the hood? Are these customers looking for a safer place to park their money? Is it better rates they're seeking elsewhere? What's happening in terms of the deposit movement?
Well, absolutely a very important point, Karen. Thanks for asking it. What actually is most relevant is the total amount of customer funds, including not just deposits, but also mutual funds, pension funds, insurance savings. This actually grew by 0.5% during this quarter, in any case outperforming significantly the rest of the market in Spain. So what's definitely happening is money is staying with us, but certainly as rates are going up, what we are being able is to offer new products to our clients based on higher long-term fixed rates, particularly in the insurance business, also in the mutual fund business, that is certainly more attractive to them than traditional bank deposits that are more shorter-term driven, while our clients tend to have longer-term investment horizons.
Gonzalo, can I also ask you about what you're doing with Telefonica, the telecommunications company? You did cut your stake back in September, about 3.5% you own right now. It is very odd ownership, given that if you look at other global banks, they're cutting back their positions in various parts of the banking world if they don't have a strong enough presence, if the market share doesn't really justify that position. Having a telecommunications ownership in the portfolio just seems very much out of kilter from what the rest of the industry is doing. What's the plan here?
Well, we have reduced our stake in Telefonica and also used financial derivatives to limit the actual investment or capital invested in Telefonica to a very small amount, less than 2% of our own equity. And this is actually supporting the many businesses we're doing with Telefonica. We have joint ventures with them in factoring and in consumer finance in Spain, doing very nicely. And we actually plan to keep that stake stable. Again, it's relatively limited at this stage, and keep growing the businesses we're doing with Telefonica with a fairly good degree of success so far.